Everybody. Nice to see you all. I see some very familiar faces. This is our master class on goal setting. This is our master class on vision planning. This is our master class on how to stay accountable to your goals throughout the entire year. So that's always the hard part, right? Is all right, we all make resolutions. We all work really hard to work towards our goals, but how do we stay accountable to them? How do we break them down in things that are achievable, and how do we check in on them? So that is what today is all about. Is there anyone that didn't get the package of all of the forms that we're going to fill out today? Is there anyone that needs the package? If so, just put your email in the chat, and my assistant Carrie's on. She'll email it to you right away. Cool. So that's what today's all about. Hey, where are you now? Where are you frustrated? How do we fix the frustrations and set some goals? And how do we plan for 5 years? Right. So really today we want to set our set and finalize our goals for the year. We want to set a 5-year vision, and then we want to talk about some ways to achieve these things. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm honored to have you all on. I'm going to pull up a quick PowerPoint here, and Carrie will send those to you, the packages to those that don't have them. So give me 1 second. There we go. All right. So how many of you have set a business plan for the year? Show of hands. Okay, good. So we'll help you with that today. How many of you have set some goals for yourself for 2023? And does anybody want to share what those are? Go ahead and unmute yourself and just talk into the mic if you do want to share some of the goals for the year. All right.
Yeah, my goal, one of my work goals is to generate 60 warm leads per month by
Really good one.
by April of 2023.
Okay.
So that is one of my business goals,
60
work
warm
goals.
leads by April. Okay.
Correct.
So I
Yep.
like those type of goals where it's measurable. There's a deadline, and you can give yourself a little time to work up to it. Like everyone sets weight goals, right? And some people hit them and some people don't. But why a weight goal is so good with a deadline behind it is, you know what you got to do. You got to eat less and you got to work out more, right? Pretty easy. You can step on the scale every day or once a week to check in to see how your progress is. You can divide or subtract your weight now to your weight you want to be, right? And divide that by how much time you have left to hit the goal, the deadline, and you can break that down into increments of, okay, I need to lose a pound a week, or I need to lose a pound and a half in a week. And you can check in on that status and adjust. So those are the type of goals that I like. Really good, Adam. Anyone else want to share? Cool. So I want to, first of all, inspire you. I want to inspire you. And I believe what you write down, what you make a commitment to, what you create a vision to, and what you focus on, you will achieve. And I can tell you this has been my vision board. So the fun part of this for me is creating a 5-year vision, putting it to a vision board, and looking at it daily and checking in to see where I'm at. And the best things aren't the things that you acquire. It's the achievement of being able to check it off your list. So one of the visions that I've had on my 5-year vision was to own a oceanfront property, right? So when I set that 5 years ago, I would have never dreamt it was possible. I wouldn't have known how to go about it. I wouldn't have known where to even start. I didn't even know where I wanted one at, right? But it was on my vision. So I ended up doing a deal in Charleston, South Carolina for one of my clients, and they were living my dream. So they were buying their oceanfront property, right? And then I started looking at my vision board and seeing one of my clients achieve it, right? And then I started, as I updated that listing agent that had the listing, I started talking to her about the places there. And then I decided to take a family vacation to Charleston, South Carolina, and fell in love with it. And then I developed this relationship with this agent. And then one of my great partners, his name is Matir Patel in Chicago, owns 83 Airbnb properties. And he showed me the model and how to use it and how to offset that dream with rental income from Airbnb, and ran some projections for me. So what started on a vision board, on a piece of paper, writing it down, and then putting an oceanfront property on a poster board with my 2 daughters, turned into a reality for me this October. So we have a beautiful home, and it's called the Wild Dunes Association, right on the beach. I will actually head there this weekend because my girls got a long weekend for MLK holiday. And my family has started to fulfill that lifelong dream. Now, if I wouldn't have put it on that board, if I wouldn't have written it down, I would have never went through the steps with my friend Matir to see how I could help pay for it. I would have never, I might have still done the deal for the client, but I don't know if I would have. I wouldn't have inquired so much to that agent. I wouldn't have been attracted to Charleston, South Carolina, and I believe it would have never happened. So the silly part of this is just writing it down and putting it on a poster board, but it comes to fruition. Now, I've done this now with my daughters and my wife. My wife's vision was to have my in-laws, her parents, be close. They lived in Iowa. They were a long ways away from us, and we made that dream happen by buying them a home 15 minutes away from us, right? So once I told them that that was her dream, which she would have never communicated to them, we could turn that into fruition. Here's our family dog, Bo. We lost our dog 5 years ago, so having a new dog went on our 5-year vision. 10-year anniversary trip that I took, the new boat that I bought, the new car that I would have never dreamt possible. All these things 5 years ago, when I put them on my vision board, they just weren't possible to me at that time. But seeing them, thinking about them, reviewing them every Wednesday, I found the ways to achieve all of these things, and I know you can too. So I just wanted to give you some personal success of what these goals have done for me. And it's not just about the new car, and it's not just about the beach home, and it's not about the great anniversary trip of my wife. It's the journey that I went on to figure this out, to find a way to make it happen, and really the relationships that I've created of people that have helped me get there. So that's what this is all about today. It sounds materialistic, but I want you to know the biggest joy is the accomplishment in doing it, and the people that help you get there along the way, and the relationships that you form. So that is what these things are all about to me. So I always start backwards. I always start thinking big first. Okay. So right here is the 5-year vision. All right. So if you have it printed out, I want to take a little bit of time to fill this out. And if you don't, just have some notes and then fill it out when you have time to print it out. And I won't give you enough time to fill this all out, but I want you thinking big. And what really helped me is my first 5-year vision that I did 8 years ago, I achieved in 3 years, right? So August, that, you know me well, that means I did what? August Schuler, are you on? Adam, go ahead.
Messing with my volume.
Oh, go ahead.
I didn't hear anything for like the last 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Adam. What's that mean when you hit your 5-year vision too early? You're muted.
It means you're not thinking big enough or
There you
you're
go, buddy.
overachieving.
Yes. So I did not think big enough the first time. So these goals need to scare you. They need to be things that you don't think were possible, right? Having a beach home, if you know the prices of oceanfront property, I'm telling you, 5 years ago, I wasn't financially in the place. I would have never known about Airbnb. It just did not even seem in the realm of possibilities. But working on it, seeing it on my list and looking at that once a week, thinking of ways that I could achieve it, I found people along the way that could help me achieve that. And I truly believe if I wouldn't have wrote it down that day, I wouldn't have that place, right? And I wouldn't have these memories with my family. So think really big here. What are some amazing vacations are a minimum of 1 week, right? And for all of our realtor friends on, that means like you can't take your computer with, and you can't take your cell phone with, and you have to go off the grid. That is a vacation. Not negotiating deals and texting and taking calls. That's no vacation, right? So I literally have got to the point where I don't even bring my cell phone on vacation. I completely go off the grid. And I got to tell you, it's the best thing for my mindset, for my balance, and I come back just on fire. When I get to work, I'm just ready to come back. I'm recharged. I'm not working while I'm on vacation. I'm blessed to have a team that can help me out with that. But that might be part of your goals, is to get an assistant or get a new team member that can help you out. So think big on some vacations. Mine were Spain, Italy, and Bora Bora. So those are 3 places I have not been. So just think big on some vacations, and anyone that wants to share, please feel free to share. Christine, I thought I saw you on. You love to go on great trips. What are some places you want to go?
I'm stressed. I'm stressed thinking about being off the grid.
I know, I just stressed you guys all out.
And I'm usually off the grid, you know, camping or hiking, but I'm never too far
Yeah.
off the grid. No, that's awesome. My husband and I, we actually put Patagonia on the list for right after Christmas this coming year, right? So 2023, 24. Yeah. So that is an off the grid, and that's a 2-weeker. So you know how that goes.
Yeah.
So,
you know, Derek from my team did that, right?
that he's where I got the inspiration. Yeah. I learned about it
Oh.
the first time I met him. He showed me 2 pictures and it was like a done deal.
There you go.
So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Anyone else want to share some good week-long vacations that they're going to take? Not work trips.
Yeah, I got our big vacation would be like a 2-week family trip to Europe.
Europe.
And
That's
take
awesome.
my son AJ to watch either a Premier League or a professional soccer game. He's a big
Awesome.
soccer player. So
What else? Anyone else want to share some vacations? Big ones. Okay. Well, think about this and know you can do this a few times. Like, I think people don't put enough thought into their vision. So one of the first hacks I want to give you is, who feels like crap when they wake up in the morning, like don't want to be up and struggle being, getting a good mindset when they first wake up? I do. So I always start my day with these goals and a cup of coffee, because it starts me thinking, my brain thinking, in something that brings me joy. So I always start the day with these goals and in prayer. I'm a Christian, so I pray, just being grateful for the day. And it takes me about 10 to 15 minutes with a cup of coffee to wake up. I wake up at 4:45. So that's kind of my first hack, is have these things in front of you. So do this 2 or 3 times. Wake up in the morning thinking about these things. It brings you joy and brings you purpose in your day. And helps you to not forget why you're going in and doing this very difficult job we have. Long weekends. These are long weekend trips. So my 3 favorite cities are Charleston, Napa, and Nashville. Those are my 3 favorite cities in our great country. So mine never change. I get a long weekend in those 3 cities. We do one of those 3 cities every other year and rotate. So now that I got a beach house in Charleston, it's going to be like a lot. I'm going to be down there a lot for a lot of long weekends. So think of some long weekends. Any of you have any great long weekends that you like to share?
You're hungry again, huh?
Cool. Stuff, toys. I've put a boat. Now that I have a house and like live on the water, I've decided I need a pickup truck. I've never owned a pickup truck. So I have my brand new car and I'm working towards a new pickup truck. My wife says it's a midlife crisis, but I want a big pickup truck.
Those are not cheap.
They are not cheap, no.
The
It's
stuff-
Like
the
not
stuff-
happening in this. It's not happening in this market. It's not going to happen right now. But
like $100 grand now for a pickup truck.
The South is suiting you well, Chad. Pickup truck.
You're turning southern, aren't I?
I want one too now.
Cool. So just think really big right there. Like I keep saying, that beach house was not even in the realm of possibilities 5 years ago when I put it down. But I believed it helped me to work harder. I believed it helped me to create better relationships. I believe I reached out to some of you all great realtors that are on that send us business because I was thinking big and had that on there, right? And I just had those things that I wanted to work towards. Cash assets. What do you have now and where do you want to be? And why I do that, I'm going to show you all something that will help you with this. So let me take this off and I'm going to pull something up. This will be scary to some, and this will make you feel better for others. Just know anytime you send us clients, we go over this with them so they kind of know where they stand and they know what they need to work on after they buy the home. So I think a really important part of this challenging market right now is to eliminate people's fears, eliminate the buyer's fears, help them set a plan, but also let them know what they're going to work on after they buy the house financially. It gives them that vision that everything's going to be okay. So know anytime y'all send us clients, this is what we go over with them. So I believe 25 to 30 years from now, retirement starts at 2.5 million. 2.5 million. The best way to know what you need in retirement is figure out what your survival number or your overhead is now and double it. And then multiply that by 12, right? So if your expenses are $20,000 a month, double that, multiply that by 12, you're going to get how much money you need per month. Or per year, excuse me, per year. When you multiply it by 12, how much you need per year. And then divide that number by 0.04. So now with this beach house, my expenses are about 20 grand a month. It's not cheap to have one of those, right? So that makes, if I double that 20 grand, that's 40. If I multiply that by 12, that's 480,000. Why you divide by 0.04, that will give you how much money you need. So I need $12 million to retire to replace my income now. Now, you can take off some things like your mortgage being paid off and subtract that out. You can take out maybe not having car payments, or if you have kids and have college, that's super expensive. So there's some things in my 20 grand. I'm doing this off the top of my head. My daughter's schools are super expensive. College is expensive. There's some things that will go away that I'll subtract out for that. So that number's not actually 12 million, but it just shows you how much you need. So I believe minimum that you'll need in 20 years, I'm going to make you all work at least another 20 years. Okay. So if you do that, check it out. This is how you get there. I said 20, not 25. So that sounds super scary. That it's about 1,200. So this person, I just ran it for, right? They said they wanted to work another 25 years. They had $250,000 saved up in 401ks, IRAs. They were putting $1,200 between how much they contributed and their employer match. And you figure about an 8% return in the S&P 500 index. That's the index I tell a lot of clients, just if you don't know where to invest, just invest in that. It's our 500 best companies in our country. So you're gonna need about 23 years, I bet. So this person, to get to where they want to go, it's between about 21 and 23 years that they would need to work longer doing what they're doing now. So if you would ever want me or the loan officer that invited you on to run through this with you, these are things that we do just to kind of give you an idea of how much you have to save to be on track for retirement. So think about those things. And if you ever want us to run that analysis, we do it for all your clients. So it just allows us to give a good plan. Giving, what are some things you want to give to? Monthly cash, time. Another achievement from my 5-year vision was my daughters were born very premature. They were born at 28 weeks. They were in the NICU 110 days. They were not supposed to survive when they were born, either of them. One was born at 2.5. One of them was born at 2.8. If you follow me if we're friends on Facebook, you'll know they're very healthy, lively, vibrant little girls. But I had to think back about what got me through that time. Is very difficult about first 6 months of their life. Who were the people that did? March of Dimes played a big part in it. So thinking about this and writing it down led me to pursue March of Dimes. We were their ambassador family for the country for a year. They kind of highlighted us to get some fundraising, and I personally raised over $700,000 for them. So though that wouldn't have happened if I just wouldn't have done this exercise and thought about it, right? So some of the best things that have happened in my life has just been through visualization and setting these goals. So give them some thought. There's some fitness and health ideas and goals on here. Okay, and then we get into some of the business items. How many hours do you want to work? It was about 3 years. Yeah, 3 years ago now, my wife stopped me and said, "Hey, I'm not really liking this." I'm like, "You're not liking what?" I think I was putting away dishes at the time. She's like, "I'm not really liking us. You seem obsessed with your work and not obsessed with me and your family. And I don't like it. You're working too much and you need to fix it. Otherwise, I won't be around." So she had a very stern talking with me. So I had to go to this. I had to say what works, what doesn't work. How can I fit this into the calendar? It turned into time blocking that if I show you right now, and I'd be happy to give any of this to you that struggle with time blocking. My assistant can tell you that is my time blocking. So I'm just super transparent. Yes, I put talk time or sexy time with my wife in my calendar. Like that's literally how far it goes, right? So I know right when I go to bed, I know right when I wake up, I know right when I work out. So now we don't have those problems anymore because she was good enough to call me out on it. And I was direct enough to say, what do you need? She said, I need a half hour of your time every night, uninterrupted. And I don't want to talk about your work or know what's going on. I just want to talk about our family, what's going on in my day. So it sounds like, I don't know, does it sound cheesy that I put in my calendar? She doesn't take it that way. She feels honored that I'm committed to it. I do it every night. I'm traveling right now. I'm not at home. And I did it last night. I checked in with her. We had our half-hour talk. We FaceTimed. She felt loved and cared for. So these are just some things. I want to give you some real life examples of how this has impacted my life. Do you need to hire some team members? We always say in our coaching about 10 to 12 million in production. If you're running a profitable business, you need some help, right? So what's your team look like? What's it look like now? You got to write it down. What do you want it to look like in 5 years? Jay, any big team goals there?
Yeah, we're on the warm lead goal
Yeah.
run as well. So we're looking for 25 warm leads a month for the next 6 months.
What's your team look like in 5 years?
Team in 5 years, hopefully very similar, six or seven. Doing more gross, more
Cool.
average sell prices.
Awesome. Do you got that written down and looking at it?
Do
Good. How
No, I
often?
do. Minimum at least once a week.
Yeah. So I
But
started.
it's going to be
every
daily
Wednesday.
now.
Yep. I started every Wednesday when I first started. It was just every Wednesday I had to check in on my goals, see where I was at. Because I was like everybody else. I was doing the New Year's resolutions. I was doing the goals and I was getting all excited on them. And then by about Valentine's Day, what would happen?
Get it?
The industry would punch me in the face with all the flux of new buyers coming in and I would get way off track, right? So I just don't allow myself to do that anymore. Thanks for sharing, Jay. What real estate do you, or sorry, I skipped the most important one, love life. What are some goals you have? So I love doing this with my wife because I like the things she doesn't like so I can fix those. So she got very annoyed that I never do the tasks around the house she wants me to, Anna. So our new system is you write it down, give me a deadline of when it needs to be done, and guess what happens every time now? I do my work, I get it done for her, right? But when I'm told it, it doesn't really resonate with me. When I'm written down and I have a list, I knock it out. So those are just some great things that help me. Now, why do we start with the 5-year vision first? Does anyone know? Jay, you've done this a few times. Why do you think we start with the 5-year?
You have to make a roadmap of where you're going. So you, just like you did with the weight loss analogy you gave earlier, if you know where you're going, you can do the math on how to get there.
Break it down incrementally, right?
Yep.
So then I take this after I'm finished and I go to the 1-year vision. So I just take a few things from the 5-year vision. How do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time or 1 year at a time. So I just pick a few things with my team, with my wife, with myself that I want to take off that 5-year vision this year. Okay, so we're working right now to plan the trip to Italy. It's getting planned right now because that's the one thing that we're taking off. The long weekends are already mapped out and set, right? I really need some help from you in this market. I did pick up the pickup truck this year, and I'm not off to a good start with that. So if the pickup's gonna happen, I'm gonna need some more business. I say that joking. But I just take on a few incremental things from the 5-year, and starting with the 5-year helps me think bigger. And then I just incrementally break it down of what can I realistically do this year? And I start planning it out. And some of it I can take care of right now. Things like the pickup I can't. But if we start gangbusters and interest rates are 5% by May, which I am predicting they will be, and we see this big onslaught of new buyers, which I think will come into the market, and we'll have a good market. And as lenders, we get to refinance all those higher rates from the past year, then that'll be a good year for us. And then I'll take care of the pickup then. Does that make sense to everyone? Cool. Any questions on this or any tactics that you guys use to take these big goals and break them down to a year?
Any,
Yes,
I
sir. Go ahead.
was gonna say, any advice you give the people, like someone on the call here that's, I've done this 3 years in a row. And I'm still like, I'm not nearly as much of a veteran as you are, but to like someone's first time they're doing this, like,
Mhm.
what do you suggest to keep them on track, like from right now to, the end of the year?
Don't
What is it?
force it. Keep looking back to it. People evolve and change. My vision, my goals, when I look at them 5 years ago, my life has just changed so much, right? I didn't have my baby then. She's only 2, right? I didn't make a move back then, right? I didn't have an office by myself. I had a business partner. Like my life's changed a lot, right? So things evolve. Just coming back to them, almost like journaling, has really been the best thing for me. Does that answer your question? Awesome.
Yep.
Cool. All right. So take the 5-year vision, break it down to the 1-year vision. Don't rush it. But once you set it, there's 3 places I want you to write down where these need to be kept. Wherever you get ready in the morning. So I run to the coffee machine in the morning. It's the first place I run to. So my goals are right there by the coffee machines. I have to have a cup of coffee, and it's the way I wake up in the morning. Where you spend your most time. I spend my most time in the office. I've had several of my real estate partners say, hey, I spend most of my time in my car, then I would recommend they be in the car. Wherever you have a lot of downtime, right? Now, don't be looking at the goals and driving if you do have them in your car. But if you're waiting on a buyer to show up, or you're waiting for that always late listing agent to come open the place that's not on lockbox, whatever it may be, keep them there. Cool. And then wherever you finish your day. So I have these laminated right on my nightstand. Okay. So they're where I get ready in the morning. They're on my nightstand. And when I need to check in with myself, how many of you have had a bad day so far this year? I had one yesterday. I did not have a good day yesterday, right? Luckily, I had my goals last night and this morning. I looked at them. I got a good workout in. I woke up not in a good space. I turned it into a good space. So see what you did in that day that moved the needle on those goals. So those are the 3 places that I'd recommend that you keep your 1-year vision and your 5-year vision. Next, what allows us to do all these things? It's our job. It's our business. So everyone have the 1-page business plan. Now I have to keep things simple. I do not do well. Like I've seen some business plans that are like 32 pages long. It's like, I can't even read that many pages in a day. There's no way I can look at it. Mine has to be 1 page that I can keep out, that I can frame at my office, that I can look at every day. So I believe in the 1-page business plan. You'll need to go back and look at your 2022 numbers. So what was your taxable income? You should know that by now. The year has ended. What was your taxable income? For any of you looking to get high level on your financials, I am a national coach for mortgage lenders and realtors. And I would say the number one thing I do to help out partners is help them run their finances. Okay, so I've learned to be very good with the P&L. I can take you from any place that you were at. Remember, I'm a knucklehead that had $330,000 of debt and have turned that into multi-millions. So I've been in pain. I've had IRS debt. I've had credit card debt. I've had a failed company. And I've been able to, through a P&L, get it to a good place. So if any of you ever need that, email me and I would be honored to help you out with any of your financials. So you got to put down what your taxable income is. I would suggest doing that monthly as a realtor, looking at that on the P&L. Perry will send in a recap, the realtor P&L that we recommend. How many units did you do last year? How many families did you help? Okay, how many staff members do you currently have? And what your current monthly expenses are. So we just went through a little exercise to cut some costs. And you might want to do that yourself if you're slow right now. I find most people are a little bit slower. So sorry, I should have been sharing my screen the whole time. So these are the things you came through. Now, here's the important exercise, Mr. Brown. Where did your business come from in 2022? And how can we forecast how that would change? Right? So in 2021, where lenders failed, is we forecasted in 2020 a lot of past clients because we were doing a lot of refinances because interest rates were low. Well, that spigot shut off hard around April or May of 2022, right? So if we had 50% of our business coming from past clients and we didn't replace that with another source, then we went backwards. And some of us planned poorly because that happened, and that happened to me. So where did your business come from and what percentages of it? Be honest with how much of it's Zillow. Be honest how much of it's past client. Be honest how much of it's from business partners. Where is that business coming from? And then what's your weakness? What do you think last year was your weakness? And be honest with that. What's your income per transaction? How much is your income divided by the number of units you did, and you will get your income per unit. Maybe you need to focus on a higher price point, right? Or maybe because interest rates are higher, that's not going to be possible in 2023. Maybe we need to focus on doing more units. You know your business better than I do, so you got to be honest with yourself. How many hours are you working? And what's your average sales price? How much volume did you do divided by your units, right? And then just set that. I missed a 3 on this 2-0, so that should be projected 2023, not 2020 business plan. So the second part of this is, what are you projecting, right? So as lenders, we're projecting the second half of this year to be a refinance boom. We think around May, rates are going to come down sharply. So for the lenders on, you would put past clients, maybe 25, 30% of your year, because that's what we're projecting. Now, is projections always accurate? No. So you do have to look at this throughout the year and shift, right? Joanna, who's someone that I've met recently, you probably came in right as her and I were finishing up. We were talking about corporate accounts and how business accounts can help her business in Northern Illinois, right? And some of the corporate relationships we have, right? Tracy, who's on, we talked about that too around the Charlotte area, right? Corporations that we can reach out to, we call them channel accounts, big companies where we can get in and be their preferred lender, be their preferred realtor. So maybe that's a part of your business that you're going to go after this year. But if you don't know where you were and you don't think about where you need to go, then you're just moving forward and very reactionary in your business instead of proactive of who you're prospecting to. So Jay, you're really good at this, and I call him Jay a lot because he's coached in the same coaching program as I am, and definitely one of the best students across the country. So where do you think you got to shift from 2022 to 2023?
Yeah, I just wrote it down. So warmer relationships and more of them, more channel accounts, definitely, and price point.
Cool. So price point, how would you go after a higher price point? What would that look like? Is that farming to more luxury markets?
It's identifying the neighborhoods and the people that live in those neighborhoods where they work, being involved in maybe something that they're involved with, and then farming as well.
Cool.
So a little bit of both.
One of my partners and good friends, she's stuck in the airport. She texted me right before she was supposed to be on and going to contribute a little bit, but she couldn't make it. But she's $100 million producer, runs a monster business. Hers was, I got to get more luxury. She kept it as simple as, I'm joining the country club where rich people hang out, and I'm going to be very involved, and I'm going to join these 2 charities and get on the board. She did it. It helped her get to her 100 million goal. 33% of her business came from that luxury market. So she farmed, she joined the country club, and she got on 2 boards of these charities, right? So usually wealthy people give back, and our affluent people are charitable, and she just went and hung out with those people. So hopefully that helps you guys. What are you going to improve upon this year? What's your major thing? Like Jay said his, I'm gonna work on being in deeper relationships. How's your net income per transaction going to be? Maybe you're going to get off of Zillow and all the spend there, the lower conversion, the cost of it, and you're going to develop more of a relationship-based business by working a VIP, having more client events, right? Doing more client giveaways. I've seen a couple of you. Tracy comes to mind during Christmas. You want to share about some of the things you did during Christmas, Tracy? You're muted.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, Christmas time, for the last couple of years, I do the 12 days of Christmas. So generally I start it right after the first week of December. And then I have baskets for everybody who's purchased a home from the Warner Group. We just put it in a Santa hat and we pull it out. And then that way we get to see face-to-face our clients that we haven't got to see for a while. And they all kind of really look forward to it. And I debated on doing it this year. I'm like, no, I'm going to keep with it because it's something I've done consistently. And we consistently do a book bag giveaway each year for kids right before school starts. Generally last year, we do about 100, 150, and we're going to try to keep increasing it. And then just have kids from the area that need a book bag. And I mean, it's been really successful. One lady came one year with like 7 kids, and one lady just cried in my arms just because she said, she can't afford how expensive, school supplies. Now, maybe these are people that aren't going to be able to purchase, right away, but still in the long term, it may be somebody who refers me out to somebody, and it makes us feel good anyways. I like doing anything when it comes to charity.
Do you notice your referrals after you do something like that go up in like 30 to 60 days? I know when we do good client parties, it's not like right at the party we get them. It's usually
You're right.
60 days after.
Yep, you're right, for sure. Yeah, and I try to, and I do a lot of different lead systems, but I, kind of figure out, okay, what is, this year, my referrals have gone up from last year, just past clients. So this year is really focused hard on all my past clients, doing something for them every single month, so that I'm going to constantly be in communication with them.
Yeah, and I love that. Just as a marketing idea, we do a monthly giveaway. We call it our inflation buster, and something that's went up way in price. We give a $250 gift card. I think we had 18 leads from it last month.
Oh, awesome.
Right. So just something simple like that where you stay in front of your client. Maybe that's where you're going to improve this year to build more of a relationship-based business, right? So I like the mix that Tracy has in her business. What's your yearly savings going to be? right? Maybe I showed you what you need for retirement and it freaked you out a little bit. And you need to focus on that this year, right? That will come through doing a good P&L on your business. A good P&L on your business feeds your personal family budget. If you can get good at both budgets, then there's more money to what, Jay?
I'm muted. To save and to give.
Cool. So how have you improved in 3 years of really focusing on a P&L and a budget?
I have saved a lot and I have given a lot.
Yeah.
So, good
Like
in both areas.
triple to what you had 3 years ago, right?
Correct.
Cash net worth went up over triple in 2 years.
Correct.
That's awesome, right? Because you what?
Because I stuck to a system and followed a plan.
That's right. Yep. So doing a good P&L and being fiscal in your real estate business leads to money for the budget, more money for the budget. And when you get better at the business, you get better at your personal finances. When you get better at your personal finances, then there's more money to put away. Right now, people are scared away of the market right now, but this is the time to buy. If you've been paying any attention to the stock market the last week, it's looking like there might have been a bottom. Tomorrow will tell. So everyone cheer for a big or a very low CPI number tomorrow. We've had 2 in a row. A third would be very, very good for everything we do, right? Maybe it's your hours you need to cut back. I told you the story of my wife in her direct conversation with me, right? And I don't really want to give up half of my beach house to her. I want to keep it all for both of us. So I needed to make that fix quickly. So I just dialed back the hours by 10 hours and I still go at it hard. I work 50 hours a week. We're very disciplined on the calendar. We come in at the same time. We have a late night every Tuesday where I get no questions asked. I can come home at midnight if I have to. If I got to sit at the office till midnight, but every other night I'm super dedicated and super loyal to being on time and being at home with my family by 6:30. That's not unreasonable, right? So it was just, hey, don't come home at 10 o'clock, dude. It's not okay when we have 3 kids. So maybe that's what you need to work on. Maybe it's your sales price going up. So those are just the main forms. I'm going to end. Then obviously this is exercise you got to do with yourself on your own time, but I wanted to talk about it, inspire you, tell you the systems that I use. Where I fix my frustrations is to think about them. So the form that you set the next 2 goals with is where are you now and where will you be? Where are you now and where will you be? So this is called your 7 areas of your life. They are work, money, love life, family, spirituality, friends, and self. And you write down in the where are you now, not goals, but where your frustrations lie. Where your frustrations lie. So I'm a Christian man. I was frustrated on myself that I didn't have the discipline to not say the F word. And I used to say it a lot, right? So it still slips out every once in a while, but it's not every other word like it used to be. So I wrote that down a few years ago, and I've just worked very, very, very hard to not use that in my vocabulary and to be mindful of it. Now I can catch myself because I look at these at least weekly, and now I've committed this year to look at them every day. And that's just an example of something I was frustrated with. So I worked on fixing it. In my friends, I was frustrated. I didn't talk to my high school friends, and I had lost touch with a few guys that were always there for me at my roughest times, that you know, were friends through college, and I had just lost touch with them, right? So I made a good list of my friends. I added them to my VIP calls on Fridays. The second thing I was frustrated with is that I didn't spend any time with them. So I organized 2 guy trips per year, right? And the cool thing was this year I looked down and there was 13 people there at our guys trip. One of them was Josh, who's on, who I now work with, and we partnered together and we worked together. And the other 12, I have done their mortgage. Right? That was not the case 3 years ago when I had lost touch with them. So the cool part of it is I've now done business with all of them too. So those are just some things. Spirituality, right? It frustrated me. I wasn't going to church, so I've fixed that now. I go to church 3 out of 4 weeks. I give myself 1 week off a month. And sometimes it's at home on the couch, but I still watch, I still take my notes, and I still got my Bible. So it counts. Dang it. Family, what are some things you need to fix with your family? What are you frustrated with? Love life, money, work. So what you do is you rank yourself and be honest on a scale of 1 to 10. You rank yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. So like work right now is low. Our leads are way down. Our income's been cut in half. It's frustrating, right? How many of you, the rest of you, are experiencing that just right now in the moment? Work's a little frustrating. So it's my lowest score I've ranked myself in 6 years at my work. It's just frustrating right now. So I need to work a little harder on that area. My money's good. It's growing a ton. I'm super happy with where it's at, but I want to be more charitable. So one of the frustrations was I didn't give away 10% last year like I had the year before of my income, right? But I ranked my money a 7. So I know I don't need to focus on it too much. And sometimes I focus on it too much, right? I need to give that energy towards my love life. I need to give it to my spirituality. So that is the first part of this, right? Is to be honest with yourself and see where you're frustrated. That's called the where are you now? All right. The second part of this for our visual people is to take out that visual wheel of life, and however you rated yourself, count yourself out. See, my money's really high. My love life isn't great. My spirituality's kind of low, and my self's not good. I got a flat tire right here, right? So every day this is hanging at work. I know I'm like, man, I got to work on myself. I got to read. I got to be in my morning routine. I got to be in my Bible. I got to make sure to reach out to my friends, and I need to work on getting home, right? But my work and money was pretty good. So though that gives me a visual reminder of daily what I need to work on. It's just a quick glance that I can look at and say, remember to be spiritual. Remember when a client that you've been working with for 6 months and done 15 pre-approvals and you've ran 30 numbers goes with an internet lender a week before closing, not to drop an F-bomb, right? It's things like that. So this just really helps me stay on track of what I'm working on that year in my life. And the goals are, where will you be? So that's the next form. Where will you be? Okay. So these are 1-year goals that you're working on to fix your frustrations. So some cool things I've incorporated through here. I have a weekly date night with my daughters. So I believe my job as a father is to show them how a man should treat them and what to look for in a man. And they're not going to know what to look for if I don't show them that at least once a week. So I take each of my daughters out, not the baby yet, but the 2 twins. I take them out individually once a week and take them on a date. And it's just me and them time. So that was super important to me. That's a goal that came from a frustration, right? Calling an old friend every Friday. Someone I believe I've lost a little contact with that I shouldn't be, that might be struggling, and I can help them by being a good friend. I will tell you a touching story from that. I called an old business partner that did me very wrong back during the financial crisis. In fact, he ran up a bill of $130,000 and lower my bills. And he ran the finances, and he embezzled all the money, and I got stuck with the bill, $130,000. And I had held this grudge for almost, what would have been about 13 years, never talked to him. So I finally called, I wrote it down, that I was frustrated. I called him and buried the hatchet and just say, hey man, I forgive you. I want you to know I'm here for you. and I've just put it in my past, and I don't want to live my whole life and something happens to one of us and I never just moved on from it. So I don't forgive what you do, but what you did, but I do forgive you. And let's move on. And we've had this very cool relationship. And about a month later, he called me and told me his wife had just left him. He didn't know about his kids. He was broke and he was considering killing himself. And that call and our relationship and the talks we had after that really helped him to get past that time. And now he's really good. So these things just matter so much. And I think when we don't give them the time that they need to think about the life we want, we can't have the life that we want. So I just wanted to get on, share some successes with you. Obviously, I'm giving you a lot of the good. There's many of these I haven't accomplished. There's things I've written down, like writing a book. It's there every time. I've never started on it. I fail every year at it, but it keeps showing up. So I know eventually I'll write a book, right? So I hope that helps you guys. I hope it inspires you to think big, to take action on these goals, to look at them at least once a week, to have a system in place where you do it, and to know that you have some accountability here if you want it. We have a call once a month in my mortgage branch, and I know all my employees' goals, and I make all my employees do this, and I review it with them, and I check in with them, and I force them to look at it at least once a month and to check in with them. And any of you are always welcome to that call, and we have it super fun, and we cheer people on, and we set daily goals around these. And I've just seen some of my employees do some amazing things and have had some really touching conversations about what it's meant to them, how they've been able to take on things in their life that they wouldn't have without this. So you all are always welcome to that. My assistant Carrie will send you the things that we mentioned, and you can email her back if you want to be on that call. And I just really appreciate what each and every one of you do for us. I appreciate the partnerships, whether it's with me, whether it's with JT, Adam, August, Josh, whoever invited you here today. We just wouldn't be able to do these things without your trust as realtors, without the clients you send us, without the trust you put in us. We know when you give our name out that you're putting your name on the line, you're putting your paycheck on the line, you're putting your reputation on the line, and know how much it means to us, and know how serious we take it, and just know how much we appreciate it. All right.
All right.
Thank
This
you.
is awesome.
Exactly an hour.